Hello everyone! Welcome to Mascot Concepts, the series where I create mascots for teams that don't have one. Today, for the Season 1 finale, I will be creating mascot characters for the NFL team, the New York Jets. The New York Jets is one out of the 5 teams in the NFL that doesn't have a mascot, but that's going to be changing today as I've created 3 different concepts for a Jets mascot. So without further ado, let's get started. And by the way, this guy doesn't count, as he's been retired for over 30 years. Before I share my first mascot concept, I should explain how I come up with the mascots for teams without one. I usually think of the team itself. For example, I think back to their history, and do a little bit of research into what would represent them best. I also think of where they play at, that being the state or city, as well as merchandise, since some of the teams use a fake mascot in some merchandise. So with all that information out of the way, here's the first mascot concept for the New York Jets. So the first mascot concept I've created is a pretty interesting choice, but it's still creative. That being a sugar glider. Now what does a sugar glider have to do with New York? Well, nothing really. But while researching mascot ideas for the Jets, I found this graphic design company who actually worked with the Jets to create a mascot. And they chose a sugar glider. Or actually, it was a flying squirrel. They chose that particular animal because they wanted something unique, and they liked how this creature was different from other squirrels. Sadly, this concept didn't go anywhere, and the project was shelved, at least until now. So with that out of the way, here's the first design. This is my design of a Sugar Glider Jets mascot. He doesn't have a name as I wasn't able to figure out one. If you have a good name, please comment it down below. He is designed to look like a real sugar glider, but I did take some creative liberties. I wanted to make him different compared to the actual proposed mascot. In other words, less superhero-like and more of a Chip and Dale look. I gave him a friendlier looking face while still keeping the same sugar glider look. I made his fur gray, only because I don't have any tan or light brown markers. If this was actually made into a costume, the fur would be light brown. Now what would a sugar glider be without its wings? Which in this case, the wings act more like bird or bat wings, and they're not actually attached to the torso like a real flying squirrel. Only because it would be hard to move around if the wings weren't loose. And of course, I won't talk too much about the uniform as it's just the normal Jets uniform. That also includes giant oversized white Nike shoes. Overall, this is a pretty interesting but creative choice. No other sports team has a sugar glider as the mascot, so it's definitely unique. But now let's say that the Jets don't want a rodent as their mascot, but rather something more closely related to New York. What kind of animal would they choose? Well, here's one. Now this next mascot I created may sound silly, but it actually makes a lot of sense. That being a pigeon. Now what does a pigeon have to do with New York? Well, if you live in New York, there's tons of pigeons there. They're basically the state bird, even though they're not. Everyone almost always associates pigeons with New York. Not to mention they have wings, like a jet. But with all that out of the way, here's the design. So here's my pigeon design. Again, he doesn't have a name, so comment section, do your thing and come up with a name. I gave him a long neck since that's what pigeons have, and are kind of famous for, and that includes the green patch on his neck. He's also wearing a green football helmet and baring his teeth, even though birds don't have teeth. The body isn't anything too special other than it being covered in fur/feathers with giant wings with black hands and details. The tail is also black, and the legs are a dark yellowish gold color with large feet. Not sure if you can notice, but I took a lot of inspiration from the 2000s version of Louis the Cardinal Bird from the University of Louisville. They both only wear a jersey and have black wing details. They are also both barefoot and bearing a pair of teeth. Overall, I do like a pigeon being their mascot as it's actually something that relates to the city. However, there's one problem with this guy being the mascot. There's already a ton of bird mascots in the NFL. Cardinals, Eagles, Ravens, Seahawks, Falcons, etc. So I don't think there needs to be another bird mascot. So if you don't like the idea of a pigeon, then this next one might catch your interest. The last mascot I created is actually already kind of associated with the team, at least in terms of merchandise, and it's an obvious choice, that being a jet pilot. Now what does a pilot have to do with New York? Well, I mean the team is called the Jets, and who drives a jet plane? A pilot. So it's a very, very obvious choice for the mascot. So with all that out of the way, here's the design. Here's the design for the pilot. I based him off of this particular piece of merchandise, as well as the Toledo Rockets mascots. Yes, those are supposed to be spacesuits, but it's kind of similar. The head is oversized since it's a humanoid mascot, and the helmet is designed after the Jets football helmet. He has all the normal pilot gear on his helmet, including that nose thing that connects to what I believe is an airbag on his back. Or maybe it's a jetpack. The body isn't anything too special, as it's just a full-body green flight suit with green gloves and a jersey. The shoes are unique though, as they aren't just Nikes but totally original shoes. Overall, a pilot is definitely the best choice for the Jets mascot, considering the team name and logos. The only thing that would prevent this from becoming the team mascot is that there's already a lot of humanoid mascots in the NFL, but at least this guy is unique and creative compared to most of those mascots. And on that note, this concludes my New York Jets Mascot Concepts. And there you have it, mascot concepts for the NFL's New York Jets. I know that some Jets fans may not actually want a mascot, and I can respect that, but don't get mad at me, this video's just for fun. However, if anybody working for the New York Jets is watching this, please consider getting a team mascot, it'll definitely help you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in April for Mascot Concepts Season 2. Bye-bye!